Hello and welcome to the Canadian Gun Blog. For my first instructional video, I wanted to do something simple and straightforward. So with that said, this video will demonstrate the single action, double action operation of the CZ75 pistol, as well as the technique of lowering the hammer on a live round. Of course, in this video I'll be using snap caps rather than live ammunition, but the principles and techniques will be the same. So a couple of things. Why the CZ75? Well, this was actually my first handgun, and as it turns out, it's an extremely popular pistol in Canada. Its main uses here are plinking or casual target shooting, as well as competitive practical shooting sports such as IPSC, IDPA, and multi-gun or 3-gun. In Europe, this is actually quite a popular firearm for law enforcement and military personnel. And the CZ75 is a single action, double action pistol, which means that it can be fired either in single action or double action modes, which I'll demonstrate. So first, I'm going to prove the gun safe. So here I have the gun pointed in a safe direction. I'm going to make sure there's no magazine or ammunition, so the magazine is out. I'm going to rack the slide, look into the chamber, lock it open here, view that the chamber is empty, verify the feeding path of the weapon is clear, and therefore I have a cleared weapon. So now with a safe pistol, I'm going to demonstrate the single action and double action firing modes. So this pistol is what I would call a default single action pistol. And what do I mean by that? Well, so if I take a magazine here, which is loaded up with snap caps, so if I take a magazine and I insert that magazine and I rack the slide, okay, what you'll see now is we have the hammer of the pistol cocked, and the pistol now will be firing in a single action mode. A relatively short trigger pull lowers the hammer. Okay, so now if this was a real round, what would happen is the cartridge would fire, the bullet would exit the barrel, this would cause a cycling of the slide, the casing would be ejected, another round would be chambered, and now the hammer is cocked, it's ready again for firing in single action mode. So what about double action mode? So two things. One, why would we want double action operation? And two, how do we make the pistol fire in double action operation? So in answer to the first question, why would we want double action operation of this pistol? Well, there's really two situations, and one is for law enforcement or military application, where really there are two safe carry conditions for this pistol. And different law enforcement or military agencies may prefer one over the other. But the two safe carry conditions of this pistol are going to be, one, cocked and locked. What that means is I have the hammer cocked, and then I have the safety applied. Okay, so the safety is now on. This is a safe carry condition for this pistol. It's cocked and locked, and in order to operate, what I would need to do is I'd need to first disengage the safety. Following that, I'd have a short double action trigger pull to operate the pistol. The second safe carry condition would be the hammer down position. So the hammer down and the safety off, okay? So this would be carrying it in double action mode, in which case the first trigger pull, as I'll demonstrate here, would be much harder double action pull. So here it goes. Pulling, 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 pulling. So a harder double action trigger pull. There's no safety to manipulate or worry about, and this is why it's favored in many law enforcement agencies. And in this case, you'd have a very similar action to a striker fired pistol, such as a Glock or Smith & Wesson M&P. Now the other situation where you may need or want a double action operation is for competitive shooting sports, and then this is the case in which I use the double action pull. So in either production division of IPSC or in the stock service pistol division of IDPA, it will require that your first shot be fired in double action. in order to level the playing field with other stock pistols, many of which will be striker-fired pistols such as the Glock or M&P. So in this case, what we need to do is we would need to then lower the hammer onto a live round. Okay, lower the hammer onto a live round. Well, why would we need to do that? Well, again, this is a pistol which by default is going to be single action. So let me show you that again. So what will happen is if I have a magazine and I've loaded that magazine and I insert it and I rack the slide, this pistol is going to be with the hammer cocked. Okay, so if I want to fire this in double action mode, I need to manipulate it in some way to get this hammer down. Now remember, we have a round in the chamber, so I'm going to be lowering the hammer onto a live round. Now how I do that is in the following way. First, I want to make sure the gun is pointed in a safe direction, okay? Because it's possible my fingers could slip and I could have a accidental discharge of this round. So I'm going to have it facing a safe direction. I'm going to make sure my hands are dry and the weapon is dry so that I'm not going to slip. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the hammer like so. I'm going to pull it back. I'm then going to depress the trigger, and with the trigger depressed, I'm slowly going to lower the hammer. And that's the technique there. Okay, I'll demonstrate it one time again. Pistol pointed in a safe direction. Okay, my hands are dry as well as the pistol to ensure I'm not going to have a negligent or accidental discharge. I'm going to grab the hammer, I'm going to pull it to the rear, I'm then going to depress the trigger, and I'm going to slowly lower that hammer down. Okay, there are other ways that this can be done. Some people have a technique where they use the thumb, but in any case, this technique, which I'll demonstrate one more time, is the way I do it, and I feel it offers the most safety and the most control. Hold that trigger down and you lower the hammer. Okay, so that's a technique. Very important to practice this technique dozens and dozens of times with snap caps prior to doing it with live ammunition to prevent accidents or negligent discharge. But with a lot of practice, it can be done very safely thousands and thousands of times. So again, this video demonstrates the double action and single action operation of the CZ75 pistol, as well as the technique for lowering of the hammer on a live round. Hope you thought this was useful. Thanks again for coming to the Canadian Gun Blog.